Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to today's episode of the 7th round on your Pan-African International channel, LABELTV. Today, we are going to discuss the suspension of Twitter by the Nigerian government. And the Gabon government said it will make vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination, compulsory for its military men and women. With me to discuss this, I have Uche Chinwe. Uche, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Willie. Hi, viewers.
Okay, we'll come back to discuss Nigeria and why the government had decided to suspend Twitter after this report. President Muhammad Buhari's Tuesday stern warning to secessionists assumed global dimension when the popular micro-blogging platform Twitter deleted a tweet on the president's official handle at M. Buhari in which he threatened to treat Nigerians misbehaving in the language they understand. President Buhari had in the tweet shared on Tuesday cited the Nigerian Civil War experience, which was fought between 1967 and 1970, and noted that most of those misbehaving by burning electoral offices were too young to understand the gravity of war. The tweet had attracted millions of comments and widespread condemnation, with many Nigerians criticizing the president for making reference to the war in which millions of Nigerians, mostly of Igbo extraction, were killed. Some Nigerians had called on Twitter to suspend his account, claiming the president's tweet expresses intention of self-harm or suicide, as stated on Twitter's user policy. However, Twitter yesterday deleted the message and replaced the tweet with, "This tweet violated the Twitter rules. Learn more." The Twitter flag down, akin to January's suspension of then U.S. President Donald Trump's account, has been received with mixed reactions. The federal government of Nigeria yesterday took a swipe at the social media giant, alleging double standards in matters particularly bordering on Nigeria's domestic issues, describing the company's rule in the country as suspicious. Thank you for being there. Now, let's look at the issue. Uche, why do you think the Nigerian government suspended Twitter indefinitely?
In fact, it is very, very uncalled for a president of a nation to just suspend a social media handle because of they deleted something that the company think is not warranted. So it's not.
Yes, the Twitter, when deleting the message, said it violated the rules of Twitter. But let's look at the message itself, because they deleted the controversial post by President Muhammad Buhari referencing the country a civil war and threatening to treat those attacking government building with the language they understand. This is the fundamental, to treat the people the language they understand, using this language, because during the civil war we know how much damage was done to these particular people, the Igbos, during the civil war. And now if you are saying you are going to use the language that they understand, this, I think, it should not be expected from the president.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't expect that a president can use such platform to address his nation. It is very, very uncalled for, because I think access to free and open internet is an essential human right in a modern society. So Buhari blocking or banning Twitter is a violation of human rights, especially Nigerian human rights.
Yes, but the government said, according to the information minister, Lai Mohammed, said the activity of Twitter is suspect. Why would they suspect Twitter? Why would they suspect Twitter?
How can activity of Twitter be a suspect when we have like more than 39 million Nigerians, not just Nigerians, everybody is using Twitter. And Twitter has been a kind of helpful to Nigeria, because I could remember during the ENSAS protest.
Yes, I think this is where the government is talking about.
That is where most people got most of the information, what is going on in the country. So I don't see any reason you should just wake up and decide to ban a company or a social media handle like that.
Yes, do you think the Nigerian government is afraid of fair criticism? Because when you look at what is happening in Nigeria, we don't need, in fact, Nigerians don't even need to go to Twitter to see the information, except to let the international community knows what is happening in Nigeria. Everyone is a living witness to the atrocity, security atrocity that is happening in Nigeria, not only in the southeast, which the president is laying emphasis on. We have been having school children being kidnapped at ease. We have been having these herdsmen attacking farmers at will. But the president have never come out to say...
Instead of him to say something on this, he now wants to ban a particular place where people just air their view, where people just give information on what is going on the country. Instead of you to address the particular issue of insecurity in your country, you are banning a company that is just doing their business.
Yes, they are banning a company because I know this company, this is what has made many of the companies to leave Nigeria because they do not have
a coverage.
Yes, and not even a coverage. Yes, a coverage in terms of security, in terms of maybe doing business. How do you look at that? It's
very, very, in fact, I don't know. It's very, very uncalled for. The government should just do the right thing and leave all the social media handle to do their own business.
Yes, Oche, if we may recall, during 2015 campaign, during 2015, prior to President Buhari taking power, we have had a lot of criticisms on the past president, the ex-president, Goodluck Jonathan, but he never took this kind of... He never went out to abuse Nigerians expressing their views. Since the advent of this, this administration, it has been attacking people who want to express their view. Why is the government afraid of this government afraid of free speech?
You cannot just stop somebody from being free to say whatever thing they want to say, because I believe the Constitution of Nigeria still give us the right to fundamental right to speak freely.
Yeah, freely.
So you cannot just cut off somebody because the person said the truth. Even if there is a truth in it, then you should, as a government, make some amendments like, let me listen to what the people is saying. Because we're in a democratically...
yes, in a democratic government. Yeah. Yes, you talk about the constitution of the country. The Attorney General, Malami, said that if anybody is using Twitter in Nigeria, the person will be arrested. the person will be arrested. We have not, because I was trying to look at the Constitution of Nigeria. We have I've never seen any chapter of that if you use a Twitter, you will be arrested in Nigeria. I mean, if this is coming from an Attorney General of Nigeria, where are we going that so low?
Then maybe they want to reverse the Constitution now to maybe could be some freedom of speech, like you don't say this or you don't say that, or the government is now choosing what the people have to say or what to use in a country that we say is under presidential system of government.
Anyway, let's look at it from this point. Do we have to regulate social media activities in Nigeria?
No way. I don't think.
But what would the government say? Because some of them, the minister was saying he spewed a kind of hate speech or something like that. Do we ever think maybe this can...
Wait, let me come in. Is it the Twitter that is building a hate speech, or the people, the citizens of Nigeria, that are building a hate speech through Twitter?
In fact, the issue of hate speech, I might say, it depends on where you are. Because if you are on the side of the government anywhere, especially in Africa, find it difficult to accept hard criticism. But if you are outside, like some of us are, we look at it as this is a normal expression of a citizen, knowing that the government has failed in health, in security, in economy. So the people have to express themselves.
Then when the government is being criticized, I think it's right time to sit up and make some amendments and not just putting more fire on what is going on. You are just triggering Nigeria to stand up again to protest or maybe carry out one or two things, then you will say the people are against the government. When you have to address a particular issue the way you are meant to address it as a president of a nation, instead of you to do that, you go ahead to keep maneuvering, stopping some certain things. Like, how can you just wake up and ban Twitter in the country?
Because they say the activity is suspect.
How can the activities be a suspect? You as the president, yes, you must have some critics. But that doesn't mean you should wake up and keep, how will I put it, keep making the people believe that you don't even have the capacity to rule a nation.
Yes, and that brings us to last year, during the presidential election in the United States. We also see the same thing happen when Twitter and other social media flagged down President Donald Trump because of certain issues that he said. I mean, America never thought of maybe saying, okay, Twitter, you can no longer operate.
In America. They did not do that because maybe, will I say, they are very well far away educated more than
Did you say educated or advanced in terms of freedom of speech?
Yeah.
Well, so in this case, a lot of people have asked the government to rethink their position for indefinite suspension of Twitter. And do you think that would stop Nigerians from airing out their view if the government does not review its decisions on the suspension of Twitter? Because other people have started using the VPN to express themselves. We have Facebook and others.
And we have other social media handles. If the government don't want to bring back Twitter, we still have many other handles.
Yeah, we have Telegram, we have...
we still have many other handles to have our view. But I will just point out this. Banning Twitter in Nigeria is it's not okay. The government should at least bring it back. It's not Twitter handle that caused the hate speech. Because I don't see a reason why I should make a post in Twitter saying how I feel, expressing how I feel. Instead of you to look into it, you go ahead to.
But because we have this kind of a reaction, which is normal in any communication. If you talk to me, if you said something on Twitter about me, I have a right to reply. But the government did not do so, because if the government might have said, okay, this is the reason why the president has made this statement, to treat the people in the language they understand. They would have expressed, they would have used the same Twitter to tell us why the president, instead of saying, okay, because we are using this medium to channel our views, you now say, no, we cannot use that medium again. Don't you think as what the minister is doing, you could have used the same platform to say, no, Twitter, this is not what the president meant.
Then what stopped the Nigerian president from coming on air, like live television, to say this is what I feel like saying, instead of using that medium, Twitter?
No, anybody can use Twitter. He can use Twitter to say what he wants to express.
As a president of a nation, I don't even deem it fit for you to go to all these social media like you are hiding your freedom of speech. He would have come out in the television and air his views. Let everybody hear him. Than hide it, because it's not everyone that is handling
He's handling Twitter. So I know some people do not
come out in full force. If really he knows what he is saying, he should come out in full force and air the view in a television.
Yes, in fact, Uche, on a very serious note, do you think there is this, should I say, Igbo-phobia, that is the kind of hatred in quote about this particular ethnic group after the war? Maybe we have it from the Fulanis, which is the ethnic of the president and many others. Because if you look at the spread of events, the spread of maybe the ministry, even the state, they are always sidelined. Because if you look at every other geopolitical region in Nigeria, some have 6 states, some have 7 seats, but Igbo will have 5. If it comes to appointment, if the Igbo is the next person to be appointed in the military, they will keep fighting, so they will change the position. So do you think this has gone ahead to confirm that the people are not really accepted in Nigeria?
Exactly.
If they are not, why don't they allow them? If they need a state or a country like the Biafra,
why not allow them to be?
Why not? Or even conduct a referendum. What will stop the Nigerian government of saying, okay, let's conduct a referendum. The Biafra has been looking for their own state. Why can't we do a referendum and allow them to go if they say yes or if they voted yes?
Anyways, it's not all about saying the Igbos should go and have their own state. This particular phobia you said on the Igbo, it has been there even before the Civil War. And that is why you see all these our Igbo secessionists,
yeah, the separatists.
Wanting to go their separate ways. Because you cannot just keep saying this particular thing is for these people, this particular thing is for these people. Then the major people that are meant to get something, you are now neglecting them.
Okay, I think the government is listening. So where do we go from here?
I think the government really have to sit up. They really have to sit up, both allowing people to air their view, allowing any social media handle to delete whatever thing they think is not right for their company. They should sit up and do the right thing.
Okay, the federal government of Nigeria should set up and do the right. We have a lot of insecurity in the country, from the northeast, northwest, middle belt, south, even the southeast. The entire country is being awash with insecurity, and we believe that the federal government of Nigeria will sit up and accept the reality and let us move forward. Thank you for being there. When we come back, we are going to look at the vaccines in Gabon after this report. Don't go away.
Since the launch of the national vaccination campaign in March 2021, the military have been slow to get vaccinated. However, security service personnel are among the priority populations for vaccine in the country. They need to be protected, and therefore to be vaccinated should allow them perform better, not only on sovereign missions, but also to fight more effectively against COVID-19. Explained Major General Yavis Ditengo. For the Chief of Staff, the armed forces cannot be left behind in this vaccination campaign, because being in the front line at all times on the ground, the soldiers must be vaccinated in order to be protected to supervise the population. Last May, Gabon received 300,000 new doses of Chinese Sinopharm vaccine, 100,000 of which are intended for the defense and security forces. These doses, according to the Minister of Defense, should be sufficient to protect Gabonese soldiers from this pandemic. During his address to the nation, the President of the Republic, Ali Bongo Dimba, announced the implementation of new measures in the context of the fight against COVID-19. Among these, the systematic quarantine of travelers from other countries, especially those at risk. On their arrival in Gabon, they will carry out a PCR test and will observe a quarantine of 24 hours in a hotel establishment until presentation of a negative PCR test, indicated Ali Bongo Dimba in his speech to the nation. Measures which aim to prevent a new peak of cases of COVID-19, but also the arrival of other variants of the virus on the national territory, and this decision will be effective from June 15, 2021.
Thank you for being there for this second segment. Uche, the Gabonese government said we want to make COVID vaccination compulsory for its military men. Is this for the interest of the soldiers?
If that is what the country deems fit and right for them, then I think there's no need to argue about it. Because, you know, these soldiers are always at the front line of protecting people and looking out for people that are not wearing their mask and every other thing. So if that is what they deem fit, I don't think there is any argument on it.
Yes, the word that might bring argument is making it compulsory.
I think
yes, because some might choose to have the COVID vaccine and some may not. And when you say you are making it compulsory, it's like maybe tampering on the right of someone to choose.
For me, I think the government should as well consider individuality choice of the vaccine. You don't just impose on people to accept what they think, like, I don't want this, or I can protect myself without the vaccine.
Yes, let's look at the vaccine itself generally, because we have had many countries, but still, Africa is still crying for lack of vaccine. During the week, we have heard the president of South Africa calling for more vaccine. The president protesting because they don't have a vaccine. Why do we have this? Don't you think Africa is being shortchanged when it's come to the donation of vaccine or maybe getting the vaccine?
You know, this particular company in India, because of the problem they have, that they cannot just give out the ones they are using to treat their people. So
but
African countries, just like they've been wanting to produce their own vaccine, why not produce your own vaccine and stop looking outside to get more vaccines?
Yes, because even producing the vaccine in Africa would not be that speedy, maybe in the next 3-6 months.
But they said with the patent rights, they can just copy and paste everything and the vaccine is ready.
No, it is not the copying and paste when it's come to producing the vaccine. Because if you get the patent right, you have now go into the research to look for the components of the vaccine and see how you are going to make your own. And that go down to intellectual property. Because if you look at the vaccine, it is not very far from the same component that we have from the Pfizer, Sinopharm, and the rest of this vaccine. Yes, AstraZeneca. So, do you think we are going to get Africa vaccine maybe by next year if everything is put in place?
Definitely, if everything is put in place, I think by next year, Africa should be able to have their own production, vaccine production.
And what would that mean if we have our own vaccine? Would that spur many Africans that are outside there still having suspicion about this Western vaccine?
If you have your own vaccine, I don't think there is need for suspicion because you know what the vaccine is made from.
Yes, in fact, for a long time now, this continent would have produced a vaccine, not because we have corona now, because we have had other sickness that has been devastating, like polio in Africa, like HIV, like Ebola, but we were sitting back, not thinking of how to produce a vaccine. Now that the COVID has come, it has occurred to us that we need a vaccine now. Is it not too late?
I don't think it's too late. They said that whenever anyone wakes up, that is their morning. So maybe Africa is our money. So it's our money. So I don't think it's late.
Yeah, it's late. The government, even in Gabon, has said if you vaccine, despite the lockdown that is still on, if you get the vaccine, you can move freely. You can move so freely. So is it a way of motivating us to go and get the vaccine?
Giving out the ones they have in stock, because you know, was it last month? I think Sinopharm gave them 300 doses plus 100,000 doses to the military.
Yes.
And maybe no one is showing consent to get vaccinated and all that.
But if everybody wants to go and get vaccine, honestly, if we all want to go and vaccinate, that is not enough. If you look at the years and the number of the people, that is only for Libreville, if I may say. Honestly, if all the Librevilleers will say, okay, let us go out and get vaccinated, that 400,000 vaccine will not be enough.
It will not be enough, even as after getting the first vaccine doses. You
still have to get more for another one. Because they will have to finish with the people that get the first one before those that have not had it. So we still need more than 20 years, because African Union said said the African Center for Disease Control said we still need more 20 million vaccine to just for those who had this the first vaccine to get the second one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hope that we will get the vaccine very soon, Africa-made vaccine. And for those of you who have not yet get vaccinated, I think it is high time. Let us go out there and get our jab. Uche, what is your last word before we move?
Getting vaccinated is not should not be made compulsory for the people. You go to get vaccinated free willingly. Let it not be something they forced on you.
Yes, I think the government is not going to impose a vaccine on anybody because it is not done anywhere. Let's believe that those who want to go out there to get vaccinated, just go out there and make sure the Sinopharm and every other vaccine that is happening have been guaranteed. Thank you for watching. Keep it in with us next Sunday until when we come your way. Stay safe.